Now, as I told at the start of the thing, right? Now I'm going to tell you, I'm now going to take you to the difference between multi-threading and multi-process. Whether we call parallel and concurrency are same. Okay. Now I'll tell you the problem with multi-threading. So every system has some CPU core, correct? My laptop has 4 CPU core, and your laptop might be having 5 CPU core. So inevitably, what's going to happen is that when you try to do the program on multi-threading, okay, when you try to run the program multi-threading, it runs on only one CPU core. Again, I repeat, it runs on only one CPU core. Okay, so if you try to run 10 threads, so what the 10 threads will do, it will run on the same CPU. I repeat, it is going to run on the same CPU. Fine. Point number two. What happened that CPU get crashed? That's it. Everything is done and dusted. I repeat, everything is done and dusted. Okay, so you know this problem with this kind of multi-threading, correct? That means what happened? It needs to run without any trouble, and if at all there is any big issue, the CPU crash, that means whatever thread that runs on a specific CPU will get failed. Problem number two, imagine if your program takes a lot of CPU based operation like arithmetic, mathematical operation. Okay, imagine the load that is supposed to take very high. So the moment it takes load high, right, efficiency will get lesser and lesser. When I say efficiency, it means the time that it takes to run a program. Very obvious. So that's the problem with multi-threading. On the other hand, we do have a concept called multiprocessing. Again, I'm going to use the same syntax. Okay, instead of threading, you're going to use processing. Instead of thread, you're going to use process. Here we have at line number 17, 18, threading.thread, right? There you're going to have like processing.process. That's it. That's the only difference. But when you try to run the code on a multi-process, it runs on a different CPU core. For example, if you have a different 5 to 4 CPU cores, what it will do is that it will balance the load among the available CPU equally. So what happened? Every CPU will have a lesser content to be delivered and the efficiency will be very high because the code runs in a different threads parallelly. Now this is parallelly. Okay, so that's one thing that you need to understand at the base, that yes, multi-process is always good that of multi-threading. Why? Because multi-process has a different CPU cores to run its program, whereas multi-threading takes only one CPU to run its program. So load is very high. When the load is very high, the efficiency is gonna get a lot of effect. Fine.